Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. This is Joe Shoup with our manager, Shirley Pitts. Morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Joe.
Doug will be with us shortly. He's rebooting his computer and I guess closing down some programs or whatever, but he'll be with us shortly. He's communicating with me. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Breakfast Club again. Doug, like I said, will be with us very shortly, and we're going to be moving along quickly here today. But Shirley, I just want to, before Doug gets here, I'm going to make a few suggestions, make a few comments, and that is this. The reason that the Breakfast Club exists is to help entrepreneurs, to help people understand what it is to have a home business. And I suspect, based on the numbers, that the success rate, I suspect that most people don't understand the business because it's already, it's at 97% of the people are not making the money that they set out to make, regardless of the company. It doesn't matter what company you're talking about. Now, the problem in every other company, other than the company we represent, which is Cool Brands, the problem over there in those companies is that when you register, when you become a member, an affiliate, the only option to make money is to, most of them make you qualify, and you buy the product each month on a regular basis. That qualifies you, at least gets you in the game. And then to make money, you can't make commissions off your own purchases. So you must find other people. That's the key. That's the foundation of everything. Of every one of these businesses, the foundation is building a team of people. And when they purchase, then you make a percentage of the purchases, or depending on how the pay structure is, whatever that pay plan is. And some of them make you put a person on your left and a person on your right. And then, depends on what situation, what company it is, what pay plan decides on how they're going to pay that out. And that's the only way you're going to make the money. People buy the product from you. You could make a commission. But in order to get that elusive income, that long-term income, you must build a team of people who buy the product and then go to other people, and then they either recruit them or they buy the product. And all those sales equal something. It comes out to saying, I make a percentage of a certain volume. And that's usually how it all works. Again, everybody's different. Everybody's different pay plan. And now that's the way it is in all other companies that I know. The only company I know that's set up differently is here at Cool Brands, which means that no recruiting, no sales are required to make any money. Now, you must buy a membership. It's a lifetime, one-time membership, a one payment membership. And at that point, for helping other people, we hear that all the time, Shirley, about, help others get what they want, you'll get what you want, right? So we help inventors. We help, people that are going into business or putting their business in the marketplace. And we help them get there, we get paid. Now, how do we help them get there? Well, in our company, we help them by pledging on their product and helping them get enough money to get that thing going, whatever that may be. And we also make money for actually advertising or marketing the business, telling others about it on social media, branding and marketing royalty pool. And we can build more royalties by doing that. It's the only company that I know that you can come in, no recruiting, no sales required, and you can still, without talking to a soul, Shirley, you can make money. So for those that came here, and truthfully, the bulk of the people I know it's true in my group, and I suspect it's true all over. The bulk of the people did not come here to recruit and sell. And I talk to people all the time who didn't intend to do it. Now they're doing it. That's okay. But even if they didn't, they're still going to make money as long as they did the couple of things that I said. Pledged, brand, and market. So Cooler Brands is the only company I know that you can come in, you can be silent, you can just go to your back office, brand, market, get your royalty points, help people pledge, get your points, and over time you can build a nice income. Now, for those that are here that said, I want more than that, I want to build a team of people, 97% of the people that even have come into Cooler Brands have never done that. Never built big enough team to make money. I've always said, I've said it for 15 or 20 years, there's something wrong with that picture. One of the problems is the new person doesn't know what to do, which brings us to today, what it is to onboard somebody. Onboard is a new term over the years, over these past couple of years, of bringing someone in and educating them on their, let's use the word job. Because let's face it, if you're going to build here at Cooler Brands, if you're going to help the company expand, if you're going to expand your group, you got a job. You got a job to do. You have to market. The difference between marketing and sales is this. Marketing is what you do to get information in front of people. That's what marketing is. Sales is what you do when you get them there.
Mark is here.
Oh, great. I don't see him.
Well, he's in the yeah.
There's our leader. Hello, Doug. Good morning. Can you hear us? Need your microphone, buddy. All right, so let me, while we're doing that and adjusting, so that's the difference, sales and marketing, and that's the difference here at Cooler Brands. We can bring people to the table, you know, without the sale and recruit. But again, if you're going to build, if you're going to do that, then you must tell people about the business. And again, 97% of the people that even came to Cooler Brands have never accomplished that. So again, there may be something wrong. I know what it is. I know part of what it is. Doug, can you hear me?
Got you, buddy.
I got you. We got some noise in the background. I think it's your mic or something moving around your mic.
I might stationary on my desk. Maybe it's.
There it goes. It's whatever it is. It stopped. Well, there it goes. I hear something. I don't know. Maybe it's my voice echoing.
Yeah, it could be. Let me turn down my volume a little bit here.
Yeah, that might be it.
There we go.
All right, great. Shirley, let me, you said Mark is here?
Yes, he's in the chat.
Tell him I sent him the link. He can get that link and come in. I sent it to him.
He probably heard you.
All right, so here we are now. Look, we're at that point where we say, okay, in order to grow, in order to help the company grow, and that really is our main objective, is that we need to keep the company in business. We need to build the company in order for us to grow. So the question then becomes, so what's the problems then? Why is it that 97% can't do that? Why is that? And I just say this, we've had a long talk about this, Doug and I and Shirley and a number of people. If you have 90% of your people in an organization that aren't doing anything in Cooler Brands, well, we need to communicate with them to let them know what it is to brand and market and how to do that. Doug did a class on Saturday about that, teaching them how to do that. So that's really important. We'll get into that in another session, but that's what they need to do. So we have a big audience there that are sitting back and say, you know, and going to pledge on things, but what if we help them brand and market? You would have a lot more volume here if you did that. Now, let's go back to the recruiting end and influencing end. sending information and finding people who are interested. Interested in what? Well, they don't know enough about Cooler Brands to be interested in Cooler Brands until we send information, right? So the first thing we must determine is whether or not this person is, or these people want to manage a business from home. And is Cooler Brands their choice? And are we choosing them as well? So one of the things we have to do once that occurs is we must onboard those people properly. We must bring them on and educate them what the company is. And as long what you're going to get is duplication, as long as you have a system for them. Where do they go? What do they do? Now, I know a lot of you may be familiar with a website that we built on our end, and we'll talk about that when we get to the end. Shirley, remind me, and I'll bring that up. I don't want anybody going there right now, but we do have an onboarding system.
Okay.
Where you can go and follow some steps. That's even before you get to your back office, because we teach you in our onboarding step to go to the back office, where to go, how to accomplish it, what to look for before they even get there. So we have that preliminary onboarding process. So Doug, first of all, let me introduce to you that I'm sure everybody knows who Doug Kyle is. Doug is the co-founder of Cooler Brands. Most of you don't know that Doug has a tremendous background, a business and professional backgrounds. I don't know how many know that Doug is a U.S. cycling champion. He's a young man business owner that sold a business. I won't say how much money, but I guess became pretty wealthy from that, Doug. And just, he's a marketer. He understands business. And I think of all the people that I speak with in the company is that, what's the word I'm using? I communicate very well with Doug on marketing and branding and so on, and how it really needs to go. And I'm excited about that, because over this past year, getting to know you, Doug, it's I hate these mutual admiration talks sometimes in the morning, but I think it's important that I express to you how important you are to me in the company, and the rest of the company should know that, because this is a guy that works behind the scenes hour after hour after hour after hour into the wee hours of the morning. He always says him and I talk at probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning a lot. And so, Doug, I'm just happy to have got to know you over the past year, and it's really my pleasure to do that. So, Doug Kyle, the co-founder of Cooler Brands.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Good morning. Yeah, Joe and I have some of our best talks at 2:30 in the morning. So, Joe, if I'm getting tired, Joe, I know will call and keep me awake, so it's good. But Joe, I think what you're talking about here is so relevant in terms of what people need to do. It's one thing to tell somebody about Cooler Brands or about what we do, but it's another thing to come alongside them, hold their hand, help them get on board, as you say, onboarding, help them get involved, help them understand those initial processes where they don't get lost. I think what happens in any company or any opportunity or any business, I don't care whether you're an auto mechanic, a doctor, you're doing online marketing, I don't care what it is. Every business, every opportunity has their own language. And us that are involved in it are comfortable and used to that language. Somebody who's brand new doesn't have a clue sometimes what we're talking about, even though we think it's very basic. So that onboarding process that you do, that you talk about, is critical for plugging that new person in, for helping them get involved, for helping them understand what they have and what to do. So I'm very excited, Joe, about what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, we're going to cover that now. I'm going to go let Mark into the picture here. Let me see if I can invite as speaker. There you go, Mark. You should be able to get in based on what I just sent you. Yeah, let's get to this. I'm going to share my screen. So Shirley, keep an eye on Mark. I won't be able to see anyone else on the screen as we move along here. You're the only one, and Doug can see this. So try to help Mark along.
Okay.
and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I want to we're going to look at a PowerPoint. I want everybody to keep in mind with this PowerPoint. First of all, I don't take credit for building this thing and the PowerPoints I built, but the information comes from entrepreneurs. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Joe. How are you?
Fantastic and amazing. Thanks to you. So I want you to keep in mind that this particular presentation was built not just for the conventional business world. It was built for the let's use these terms: MLM, the direct sales business, network marketing business. You'll see how it fits. Some of the things you'll look at and it kind of looks like it's referring to conventional business, but use your imagination here. And the second part of it is for those that are new, people that are not really people who are outwardly being a leader. When you bring a new person in, you don't have to be their boss. You have to point them in the right direction. So it's not that you have to learn the entire onboarding process. It's that you must point them in the direction of education and to another person. One of the most critical things you can do when you bring a new person is to dial that phone and to introduce them personally to a couple of people. It doesn't matter whether it's so-called upline or, I told Doug yesterday, I don't think there's one person. In fact, I know there isn't one person that I personally brought in the first couple of months. I don't know that every single one met Peter Gantner or Doug, but most of the time it was Peter because he was the one available. And I had that relationship with Peter over the years. So I introduced all of them. And I can tell you another thing. Back in September, when we had a contest for influencing for the month, the fellow that was in the top 3 people that came in, one of them was Roland Roberts, who is in our group. I met every single person he brought in that month, Doug. Every single one. And you're going to see and hear how critical that is. They mentioned that in here about making sure people are introduced. Now, we also introduce them in social media. Those who are paying attention and in the Cooler Brands clubs and so on, those people are getting hello from the people. But if they don't go to Facebook, they don't see it. If they're not using that diligently, they're not seeing that. So you are doing both. So let's get right to that now. Let me share my screen. And it's going to show some strange thing here when I do that. And let's try this now. Here we go. Can you guys see that screen now?
Gotcha, buddy.
All right. Let me hide this right here. My thing is running. Get that out of the way. Okay. So there's our just our Breakfast Club, nice cup of coffee. And this is just basically saying, don't copy this and just send it out there over the internet. I mean, this is kind of proprietary information. And so just don't be copying this and sending these things out like that, although we have a place for them to go to review this. Now, there's 5 steps to create a successful onboarding process. We are only going to cover a few of these today. This takes 3 parts to get this done. So we're going to cover the first ones today. So here's what we're going to cover. Create a clear and formal plan for your program. If you want people to do things over and over again and to duplicate, then you have to have a plan for everyone. The same thing, like a car wash. Same thing happens to every car that goes through. The second part is, and this is Doug and I talk about this all the time, engagement, engagement, engagement. The third thing is offer ongoing education and support. There we go. Look, you hear that all the time. No one's ever too big to learn. Always a learning process. I don't care how long you've been here or in the industry. There's always something new you can learn. It's an ongoing process for education and, just as important, support. The best practices mean we'll show you the companies in the next couple sessions that use the onboarding processes properly. And then we'll do a follow-up and then a conclusion. So let's get right down to, I'll read some of this, Doug, and we'll just comment on a few of these things. Feel free to jump in, Mark or Doug, to comment on some of these things. But gone are the days. Now, again, this is coming from some educational people that are very, very educated on onboarding. Gone are the days when welcoming new members meant handing over a folder with company goals, a job performance checklist, and orientation paperwork. Today, member orientation is about member onboarding. It's no longer a single one-day event, but an ongoing process that continues at some level for the entire length of the time that that member is active. A well-planned and well-executed onboarding process will increase the chances for a positive work experience leading to a win-win relationship between the new member and the company. Check this out. This is amazing. Reports show that 54% of organizations see greater new member productivity and 50% higher retention rates for new members when they have a standardized onboarding process in place. Only makes sense.
Yeah.
To duplicate, you got to have a standard onboarding process.
Joe, I would be interested in how many people understand the term onboarding. If you understand the term onboarding, give us a 1 in the chat. If you don't, give us a 2. I want to make sure that they initially got that term so they can follow you right along here.
Hey, Mark, go look at the email that I sent out the other day. And on there, I gave a definition, an actual definition of onboarding. You can grab that for us if you can. Shirley, you could do the same thing if you're able to go onto another browser and grab that email and that I sent out.
Okay. Yeah, most of them got it. There's just 1, 2. So you might just quick definition of what
Sure.
onboarding means to you. Buddy.
Absolutely. We'll do that. Training and support. Let's keep talking about this. It's not individual. It's not just one person's idea of what we should do. Again, this onboarding process teaches them a process. Training and support play a large role in setting tone of the new member experience, inspiring confidence, motivation, and a feeling of belonging
Absolutely.
to the company they are now part of. And that's, I give them credit over at the Facebook rooms, the chat rooms and all. The people they welcome people all the time. They make you feel special there. An effective training strategy is critical in helping new members achieve their business goals and contributes to the company's bottom line success. That's what we're trying to do. Now, this is very interesting, Doug. According to Equifax, 40% of employees, now again, we're referring to conventional business here, but just use your imagination here, who left their jobs voluntarily in 2013 did so within 6 months of starting. Now, is it any wonder how quick people leave in this industry, Doug?
Oh, absolutely, buddy.
It's the same process here.
Yeah. Yeah, even more so, I think.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
A balance of immediate and ongoing engagement and support are the key drivers for laying the groundwork in a successful onboarding process.
Yeah.
Reduces turnover, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, I have that, what you're talking about. Onboarding is the process of acclimating and welcoming new people and providing them with tools, resources, and knowledge to become successful and productive.
Go ahead, read it again.
Onboarding is the process of acclimating and welcoming new people and providing them with tools, resources, and knowledge to become successful and productive.
Well, you see, and Doug, listen, people, I guess everybody knows, Doug, you're behind the scenes every night creating this kind of stuff. I mean, going back, a training session, going here, going there. But I suspect that most people, if you took 10 people right now, even on this call, and said, I want you to write a process whereby you bring a new person in, what is it that you do? Give me step 1 through 5. I'll bet you that we can't come up with 10 people that have exactly the same thing.
Oh, I doubt that very seriously. I agree.
That's what we're talking about here, is to have that effective plan and have it in place for that. We're going to show you part of that before we get to the end. But anyway, we understand. This particular training explores the 5 steps for creating a successful onboarding process, okay? So we're going to look at those now. We're going to take a look. Number 1 is to have a clear and formal plan for your program. Now, this does not just apply to the company having something in place. What people need to understand is they are their business. You're not part of Kula Brands as an employee or an owner. You own your own online business is what you do. And that's what we're talking about here, to create. Now, I said this earlier, don't have to create one if there's one in place. Right? You don't have to do that. And that's why it's always important to grow. In order to succeed, you have to be part of a system whereby influencing never stops. The system whereby it never stops. Not that you don't, and it's not important that you be the top personal influencer. That's not important. It shouldn't work. You shouldn't have to think about that. But if you consistently brought people in on a regular basis and taught people how to do that, which is what we're talking about today, then you have a much larger team, as opposed to you doing all of the influencing. It's important that we learn to get a person here, have them stick, and teach them how to find a couple of people, I hate to say it this way, before they leave. Because importantly, I learned a long time ago, you don't have a new person until that person gets a new person.
Yeah. And I think our system is a little unique in terms of people leaving too, in our onboarding that I taught last weekend, Joe. It's really about getting people to get a point in the pools. And once they have value, once they've engaged in that, and we get them to that point of initial engagement, I think our turnover in Kula Brands will be far, far less than what we would call the industrial average or the industry average of turnover.
Yep, and I agree. I totally agree with you. And then I think, I don't know if you heard me when you had come on, but I was explaining the difference, why our retention would be much different because of being able to get paid without the recruiting and selling. So,
yep.
All right. So formal onboarding programs should outline and train the new members for activities during the first few days. Now, this is critical. Weeks, months of let's use it, of their affiliation. The most effective programs take one step further and they extend the program through 90 days, 6 months, some cases even longer. So it's important to look at key steps, specifically what, when, how each onboarding phase is going to happen. So we're going to look at those right now. Okay, we're going to take a look. Number one is define your goals and objectives.
Hey, Joe, before you go through that, let me just say one quick thing. And this is for everybody, because what you're saying and what you have said and what Doug has said so far, remember CCMP, what you're trying to get that new person to do is get a clear, concise mental picture as to what their business is, what it's about, and how to make it successful. And that's what you're going to see right here as well.
Absolutely. CCMP, mark a clear, concise mental picture. And written down, and take that mental picture, put it on paper. What is it that you're trying to achieve? What are your goals? So we'll be looking at that as well. But that's the important part, is to get this defined. They're key drivers here. That engagement and support are key drivers in the onboarding programs. Goals and objectives need to be considered, right? The company's end goal is to increase retention rates and shorten the time it takes for a new member to be truly productive. Now, Doug said it. The important thing, and we show this immediately in our onboarding process, is the first thing that we want them to do is make the decision. You'll see that in a little bit, to actually show them, and they make the decision what they're going to support. That gets them their point in the pool. That's what's important. Okay, so you create a welcoming and supportive environment for new members. Again, they do that over at Facebook. There's a nice, welcoming, supportive environment. But again, not a lot of people go there. So what do? If you're not in those chat rooms, then you need to be calling the new person, welcoming them, and then introducing them. And I can tell you, even on my own team, it doesn't happen. Mark does. Roland does that, but not everybody is engaged with that. I don't care if they're just going to support the products. They still need to belong somewhere. And that might turn them around to say, hey, I want to actually tell more people. How do I do it? But I can tell you, Doug, the majority of the people aren't doing that. I remember Peter saying to me in the very beginning, back last April, was, Joe, not many people call me. And I kept him busy for days, just making sure that everybody felt good. Wasn't for Peter. It had nothing to do with Peter.
Right.
Nothing at all. Had to do with the new member feeling like, wow, I met the owner.
I tell you, Joe, I've had multiple calls in this last week talking to members, and I don't get to do that near as much as I would like to. But yeah. I tell you, talking to Jill in Chicago, Tina in Florida, different people around the country. It is just fun. We
Yeah.
think of this, and I want everybody to understand that, people like talking, especially to us. They wanted to hear what we're doing and what it's about. So this is fun. This isn't laborsome, and this isn't a job when it comes to this. It's just meeting people and making them feel part of the family and part of the community. So to me, this is the fun part.
Yeah, I agree. This is the fun part. Okay, familiarize the member with the culture of the organization. I think we do that well. Provide required job skills retraining. Look, let's go back to that word job. This is a job. I don't care what anybody says. To build an organization, it takes work, and it takes skills to do that, whether it's Facebook, social media skills or communication skills. It takes skills somewhere. And you have to be willing to put down what you learned before and put it away and learn something new. I know we're doing a lot of teaching about social media all over the company. That's happening. But we also need to learn communication skills on how to talk to people. It's one thing to get a bite, so to speak, get somebody on the line, but to actually talk professionally. If we're going to be an organization of change, then that language needs to change for those who are looking for something professional.
Mm-hmm.
Goals and objectives. Set goals and expectations for the new members. And you need to do that. I think Corey in his training is doing that right now for people. They're excited about that. Introduce the performance management system for evaluating members. We don't have one of those, but it's something we should create. Ensure the new member receives coaching and mentoring, both in person and online. Of course, in person only when you can. Okay, so you absolutely need that coaching and mentoring. And if you, again, I said it earlier, if it's not you and coach, don't try to coach somebody if you don't know what to do. You turn them loose to somebody else. And onboarding begins before day one. Why? Because you have to be prepared. Putting together and delivering a new member package. Now, we did that all in one spot, as you will see shortly. Before they begin, get letters from.
I'm going to have to leave, my friend. I got that appointment that I told you about.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll get back. We'll see you at part 2.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Have fun today, bud. Careful.
Thank you.
They can increase their comfort level on day one. Cut down on the forms and policy overload. You don't need to be handing people tons of information and sending them to a website where they're getting a smorgasbord of information. We need to save time for these people and get them acclimated right away. That's what it's about. Make sure your directors are on board. How many of you are comfortable taking your new person? Let's suppose it was just a prospect at this point, and you want to do a 3-way with them to encourage them, to influence them, to give them more information, to get questions answered and answer questions. Are you comfortable with a director, someone you can take them to, who can direct them to registration? If you're not, you need to find out why. We need the best training tools. Doug is working on all those kinds of videos. Okay, many onboarding programs fail. Why? Because there's no one directly responsible for them. To make sure your directors are on board, get their input during the development stage and request the feedback about the implementation and effectiveness of the program. So you need to be working together. If you're working with a specific group, are you really equipped? Are you supporting each other with a 3-way? And are you doing it effectively? I don't mean talking about yesterday's news on a 3-way call. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, does that director know how to effectively direct that person in a 4 to 5 minute span to find out what the interest is of level of that person and find out what their objectives are and answer some questions for them and get them on board? Is your upline capable of that? 4 to 5 minutes without talking about the weather in Chicago or Iowa or California. Have to ensure that these people have training on coaching and mentoring. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about here, Mark. is, are the directors prepared to coach and mentor? Can you send one of you, you're brand new and you get your friend to come in, who's going to coach and mentoring them? It can't be you. You don't know enough yet.
And Joe, another thing that it does, and you talked about this in past times, that what you're doing here, if everybody's on the same page, you're creating a team, which we understand together everyone achieves more. You can't have somebody going in one direction and a lot of other people going in another direction. You have to be going in the same direction. And
Absolutely.
as you said before, be careful in the direction that you're headed, because you may end up there. But if you know you want to have that clear, concise mental picture as to what you're doing, and you want to do it as a team.
See, this is about a business. This is what people don't understand in this industry, Mark, is they don't understand this is a business. They treat it like a hobby. And it's most of the people. It's why the number is so high, because they're not getting down to the training of a business person that makes a business run. I promise you, in the 22 years I've been here, the people that were successful are there's a couple of categories. One is the big player, the big guy who can make 5 phone calls, and those 5 make 35, and those 35 make 100 calls, and those 100 make another 20 calls. Before you know it, they got thousands of people in their organization within 2 months. That's what happens to those people. They're few and far between. Then you have those people make money. We all know we call them the people at the top, right? The people that, and then there are people that get lucky, right? They get lucky. Honestly, somebody gets under them and somebody runs and so on. I know a few people like that. They've gotten lucky 1 or 2 times. But the ones who went to work, the people I know, Mark, in this industry, in the companies I have been associated with, the people that made money were the ones who treated this like a business. They set their office up like a business. They had programs in place like a business. They had training in place like a business. And believe me, you couldn't spend 20 minutes on the phone talking about yesterday's news with any of these people. If you didn't have a business question, they were gone. And I can name names all over the place, from Bob Safford down to Hector Lamarck, people that are still running it like a business, creating tremendous income. I was with those people, and so were you, Mark, and learned from them, which is how all this training came about. And we should be assigning, this is what I said before, it can't be you that trains somebody if you're just brand new. You got to set them up with coaches and help them, assist them, and mentor them. Number 2 is engagement, engagement, engagement. Engaging and empowering new members is a vital step. Now, here's what Doug says. Keep in mind, the first thing we try to do is get them to understand how to get their point right away. Everybody wants to feel like they're paid. And that, in essence, is money in the bank. We get them and teach them how to get their first point, their first royalty point, whether that's through a pledge or through branding and marketing. A sale, maybe. So they must engage in order to contribute. And that's what we're looking for, contribution. Most of the time, people are not contributing. But that's okay. If you want to, and you're the couple hundred people in the company that want to do that, first day, the first week and month, it has to continue. But you have to know what it is to do. Look, we have a mission statement in Cool Brands, right? We provide key insights. We do. I mean, Peter's talks all the time are extremely inspirational, telling you what our objectives are here. And I think pretty much we have a company culture here. It's distinct from other companies. We know that. Assign a go-to person. We just talked about this, such as a peer, sponsor, or buddy. I mean, these are critical steps. Bringing a new person on the team is like introducing your boyfriend or girlfriend to your parents for the first time. You want them to feel wanted and accepted. Again, very few people do this. Even on my own team, Mark, you roll in a few other people, but most of the time, I don't meet most of those people. It's a shame, and here we are teaching it. But you know what? Guess who the biggest players are? The ones who are doing that. Look, a good first step, doing quick introduction with the team. There it is. There it is, plain as day. If you're not doing that, somehow you've got to get into that mode. You've got to start making those people feel, want it, and accept it. Now, you bring a new person in. Again, I refer to you bringing your friend in. You can't sit, you're brand new and your friend follows you in a couple of days. You can't sit there and talk about career goals right now anyway. I don't believe so. I think you have to help them. That's why you do the introduction. When I introduce people to Mark, Mark talks to them about their goals, talks to them about, what is it that you see in the company? 60% of companies indicated they do not set any milestones or concrete goals for the new members. Kathy and I talked about this yesterday. Kathy began. We talked about having a goal for people to reach, which is why we had, a couple hundred people come in since last Saturday. Why? Because we had a goal set for them, for those people, not just new members, but people in general, everyone, all the community members. In turn, it takes many new members a whole year to start working at their full potential. Without any performance goal, that can lead to disaster, really. Lower expectations. By defining goals and expectations, you provide members a bar, right, for them to work towards. More importantly, discuss and set career goals with the member early so that personal goals and company goals are aligned. Important to do this stuff. Actively manage and give feedback. The people that get going quickly do exactly what we just talked about. And again, you think it's stuffing them with information? Forget that. That's a nightmare to give people too much information like that. In a minute, we're going to show you what we give people. Can't give them overload. You've got to give them simple tasks to do. Pace that training for them, right? Get early feedback. So if you're reading this, it's on the screen. Recognition and rewards. Now, it's something we don't do enough of here at this company. There are people, I'll give you an example. I was half in shock 2 days ago when Kathy told me she brought in 10 people in the last week. I mean, she deserved to be recognized for that. I didn't see one thing posted about that. Maybe people didn't know. I don't know. I didn't see one thing posted about that. So Kathy began, congratulations. We talked about what you did, and she's, she in fact said to me, I had no intentions of recruiting when I came to this company. None. And here she is this last week with 10 people. And by the way, she was one of the 3 people who won the contest back in October or September. So Kathy, congratulations. You deserve some recognition for that and a good pat on the back or a hug from somebody, from everyone. Important. Okay, now look, we're going to stop here, but this is really important. This is the step number 3, offer ongoing education and support. Mark and I and Shirley and a bunch of other, we have been in this education game for a long time. We teach people how to manage, how to build and manage a successful business from home. That is what the Breakfast Club started out to do. Organizations with higher member engagement are likely to boast a culture of learning and development. Just keep that in mind. It's not about learning about your friends and learning about members. And I'm talking about ongoing educational processes. Learning how to speak to people properly. Look, you are going to run out of people around you that will follow you. It's just, obviously, it's common sense. You're going to run out of people to talk to. So you bring in all the people you know. Then what do? Well, you hope that they do the same. But if they're running in the same crowds and know the same people, that's not going to happen. You've got to learn how to effectively talk to people, whether you're out and standing somewhere or you are on the telephone or somebody responds to a tweet, somebody responds to a post, or somebody responds to a letter that they receive through an autoresponder. We must educate people and all those things. And if you're listening today and you are not successful with recruiting like that and influencing people, you need to change something. You honestly need to change something and learn something new. Change your tactics. And that's where we'll stop here. I'm going to show something else. And Mark, you want to comment on that here? I'm going to switch screens here as we do this, and I'm going to come up with, I'm going to go get another browser here.
Okay, well,
But we're going to continue this in part 2. So let me get out of here. Let me stop this. I'm going to go get another browser so I can go over there and see this. Do we have any questions on that board there? We're nowhere near done this class. We'll be 2 more. We have 3, 4, and 5 steps to cover. And again, it's ongoing. So
No, there are no questions.
answer any. All right, I'm going to go now share my screen again, and I want you to see what we do. Now this, when I say what we do, this is available for the whole company. What we get are people going right away to their back office and trying to tell them how to do it and go over here and go there. That's fine. It's fine to do that, but we're going to show you how we skip that step. Okay, so I built a website. It's actually a blog here at WordPress that's called Welcome to Cooler Brands. Now, unfortunately, my name is up here because they put that up there. And if you know how to get rid of that, you can tell me, but that's because that's my account. But anyway, welcome to Cooler Brands. The new person comes in, and some of our people copy this letter and send it to them in an email. But we can immediately, while on the phone, send them right here. Instead of trying to find out how wonderful life is and so on and so forth, the thing you can do when you call and introduce them to a few people, say, look, I want to start you in some training right away. I want you to go to welcometocoolerbrands.com right now, and you can go there with them. And at that point, you can read the letter to them or let them read it. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this getting started process and beyond. We're looking forward to helping you succeed here at Cooler Brands. Cooler Brands was created because founder Peter Gantner, and it goes on to tell that story. The following instructions will guide you through the process of getting started. And it takes you through the back office and tells you what it's all about. So we'll go right to getting started. And here's what it does. It tells them that there are 4 divisions. Now, some of you never heard that terminology before. These are the 4 divisions that we have at Cooler Brands. It's a launching and building, branding, marketing, and sales. Why? Because everybody could work in any of those and get their points, right? So we can have somebody come in and working in the building, in building here by recruiting or influencing and work there alone, and that's it. That's all they'd have to do. If that's what they want. But what we do is we guide them. We find out first in their own minds, and they can tell us to go here and look at these 4 questions. This will tell them where they are. And it identifies what they're going to be doing to you. Will you be participating in pledging on products? We know that's going to be yes for everyone. Will you be participating in influencing? Some people say, no, I don't want to recruit. Will you be participating in branding and marketing, posting on social media? Some people are going to say no. Until they learn, right? Will you be participating in sales? They may say no. But this tells them right away what they're going to be doing. Why would you focus on sales with somebody about that if the answer to that is no? So you need these 4 answers right away on a new person. They need it and you need it. And again, you can go through this here, but here's step 1, takes them through how to get to their back office. And you know, when somebody calls me and tells me about the back office, I send them here. I tell them to go read it and call me back if there's any confusion. This takes them through and go in immediately and find their tracking link. That's what it does. Okay, and then it takes them down to step 2, step 3, and we get down to, the marketing letters. We show them how to get set up immediately. And by the way, back in that other thing tells them how to go in and, get their point. But here we get to the marketing letters. We tell them what they could send out to people immediately. Copy this letter, send it out, and make a couple phone calls to people. People that you know, maybe people on a list. But there's a letter here that can help you. Roland actually, we took this letter from our autoresponders, and Roland did a little enhancement. But this is the process. And then it gets down to the letter. This letter here is a sales letter. So you want to go through this website, take a look at it. Then we go to social media videos. We help people immediately. If they don't have any understanding of social media, this section tells them the basic understanding of social media. And then we have Facebook training. We have Twitter training in here. Now, they can get that in our back office. We made it convenient for them to go to this website to start those things right away. Then we have a little tab for the Breakfast Club. Tells them how to go there and how to register. And we have one, also have a tab here for the communication class. That tells them what this communication class is about, the history of it, and how to, if you wanted to take the class, to, who to get in touch with. So that's where we are with, that's our onboarding. That's what we do, and we walk people through that process and get them set up completely. That's the beginning of the onboarding. And we're ready for it. We're prepared before that new person comes in. So I don't know if there's any questions, Shirley, and Mark, any comments, but we're going to pick this up on part 2.
And asks, is the buddy system the same as accountability partner?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yes, well, the class is so important because, again, when you start a business, you have to know how to communicate with people if you're going to grow your business. So, like you've made this available to everybody, and it should automatically be a part of Cooler Brands and everything, because it's going to help the people do all the things that you've touched on so far this morning. All of that, there are portions of the class that addresses all of that. It teaches you who you are and that you're in business, because, again, if you run it as a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you run it as a business, it's going to pay you like a business. Hobbies don't pay money. They just don't. Businesses do. So there's so much that needs to be understood and learned. And again, if you're going to grow a business, one of the most important, the 2 important things, marketing is what you said, is what you do to get your information in front of people. And then communication. You have to communicate with the people that's going to be a part in helping you grow your business. And that's going to be your customers. And, with the 4 divisions that we have in Cooler Brands, and what's addressed on that, welcome to Cooler Brands, you'll see all of that. All of these things will be tied in. And once you get that down, then you can really take off and grow your business. But you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to take the time. You're going to have to use the resources, and you have to spend a little money. I mean, most businesses fail in the first 2 years because one of the things is it's not, the financing is not there properly the way that it should be. And you're not talking about a lot of finances here, really. You're just not. But the thing is what it can bring you in the future is huge. So if you're willing to take the time to learn, take the time to put out the small amount for the resources that you need, then you'll be successful. It's just that simple. There's no other way. It's just that simple.
I agree with you, Mark. There is no other way. We're in business. We're in business, period. We're in business. And when people realize that, we can have fun, as Doug said, but, we're in business. When we're working, we should be working towards building our business. And that's, what we teach. So my suggestion today is that you write down your onboarding process. What is it that you do? Regardless, don't try to plan what you're going to do. What is it you do right now? When you bring a new person in today, what are you doing? Where are you taking them? And look at it and evaluate what it is you want to do. And the first thing you should be looking at is that introduction. Once they're there, the minute I bring a new person in, Mark, as you know, I pick up that phone. Whether it's Mark or Shirley, doesn't matter who it is. I introduce them to somebody. to make them feel at home. And I try to reach Peter. Peter's getting harder to talk, to reach these days, but I try to do that. And then occasionally when I'm talking to him, I'll zip in Doug or Jan. I think it's just critical that this is not me talking. This is the industry. This has always been this way, whether it's conventional or MLM or network marketing, direct to home sale, but whatever it is. It's always important to take your new person and make them comfortable and introduce them to people, get them acclimated to the system, which is what onboarding is all about. So take your process, write it down, and then you can go back over this recording and you can see those steps. What is it that I should be doing to get my person engaged? You are not going to grow without your team growing. That's common sense. And if you don't engage, get your people engaged, they're not going to make it. You don't have a recruit until your person has a recruit. That's it. That's the bottom line. And that's how these companies grow. That's how you make money in this industry, is that you grow teams of people and you have a process for them, a supportive process, and something that everybody does together. So this system that I use, and Mark and I'll use, it doesn't work for you, create one. And you know what? Your team must follow that. You can't duplicate without having a process that everybody does consistently. So with that, thanks for being here today. Shirley, thanks always for being here with us. Appreciate it. Mark, thanks for your partnership. And of course, Doug went off. Doug had a doctor's appointment today, so we were limited time. We'll get him back. Any questions that we have here?
Well, Joe, it's me. I have to chime out, so I'm gonna call you later on, okay?
Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit later. Thanks, Mark. Have a good day.
Thanks, Shirley. Peace
All
and
right,
blessings.
everyone. Have a wonderful day. Shirley, any questions at all?
No questions. Vanessa said instructions may need to change a bit since the back office has been updated.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, she's absolutely right, and we're working on that. There's a few things back there we need to change. We will do that. We'll get that up. And Vanessa, if you have any suggestions for that, why don't you email me through the notice that you got or get or something. You have my email address. You can get it from somebody. And maybe if you would like to say, here's some suggestions that we could put in there, please let me know, and I'll work with you to get those in there. I have other people that give me suggestions as well, but since you brought that up and you were diligent and saw that, I'd love your input. So give me a call or send me an email, and with your phone number, we can chat about that and tell me what you would like to see there.
Steve says, I'm having a hard time getting people interested, or if they are interested, they can't get them to get involved.
All right. You know what, Stephen? This is typical. You're welcome, Vanessa. Yeah, my email address, Vanessa, you can send it to the New Breakfast Club at earthlink.net or jpshoop@earthlink.net, one of those two. Just send it over there and we'll be fine. I can't read what Dawn Clifton just said, but I want to address Stephen here.
Don says,
Stephen,
love you guys.
Yeah, so Stephen, this is a typical problem. I have been battling with this for 22 years with that same thing. I can't get people to listen. There's a reason for that, Stephen. And that's why we have our class. I know we promote it and we talk about it, and thousands of people have taken this class, but it's a communication class. It covers exactly what you're talking about here. And I mean, we could spend all day on this. The problem is in not knowing your place. I don't mean you, I'm talking about everyone that has this problem, which is most of the people, not knowing your place in your business. It sounds strange. You don't know who you are when you're talking to these people, which is why you can't move them along. And it takes a skill. This is a skill set. And that's why a lot of people fail in this, is because they don't have and learn the skills, the communication skills, to get the person to look and be and find. Now, here's the other thing, Stephen. We teach this all the time. Don't try to interest those people in anything. Find the interested ones. Find the interested ones. And how do you do that? Through marketing, putting the information in front of them and see who is interested. Believe me when I tell you, Stephen, I could pull everybody on this call in a meeting, and I promise you that most of the people do not have their friends and family in this business. Now, some have brought their friends, yes, but I'm talking about their childhood friends, their family. My family's not in this company. They have their own world they live in. Buy the product, but not in the company. And it's been that way for years. And it's
Okay,
all
Mike,
Mhm.
Michael says the new back office link, he posted it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what that means, but the back office link. We have our back office. Yeah, well, we'll get it straight. It's, we're working on that.
It's Cooler Brand's back office. He posted the link for last Saturday's training.
Oh, for last Saturday's training. Yeah. Yeah, I got that last night, and I'll be using that in a broadcast that I'm doing with that to the new people, to my people, so that they see how to go do that. Yes, I tell you right now, all the people that are inactive in your organization, send them that link for the training. Send them a nice letter that says, look, I just wanted to make sure you were up to speed with your royalty points and how to get more. Watch this video, give me a call, and let's go over it. Got to communicate that message to them. But with that, we're at the top of the hour. So I want to thank you all for being here. If you need to get in touch with me, I gave you that email address, and we'll look forward to seeing you for part 2. We'll go over this. We'll do a review, part 2, part 3. And, we'll get people acclimated properly and get them into training properly, and learning social media, going to the chats and so on, and learning these things and learning how to communicate their message and talk to people effectively and find the interested party. So with that, thanks for being here. This is Joe Shoup with my partner Shirley and Doug and Mark Stevens, and I hope you have a great day, a wonderful and a fun day. So with that, have a great day, everybody. See you next week at the Breakfast Club.
Thanks, Joe. See you later.
Thank you.